But yeah, he's been caught playing knockdown ginger, or as the kids say, ding door ditch. Did you know that?
I did, and I think it's very weird.
Yeah, Jack called it that the other day, and I went, "It's called knockdown ginger," and he was like, "What is that?" It's like, "I'm ashamed."
Yeah, like, why do you not
Yeah.
know this? Come on, guys.
The Football Drop Podcast.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Match of the Day. My name is Will, and with me is my co-host, Ben Saul.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Thank
Good.
you for this special episode.
It's nice to see you here. We're obviously joined with Big Al and Big Meeks. Let's get straight into the first game.
Yeah, how did you find that?
It was weird. It was really weird. I feel like I did better than Alan Shearer doing the intro on Saturday night.
Yeah, that was really weird. It threw me completely.
It was so bad.
It really threw me. Did you? I think he introed on Rest is Football as well.
Yeah, it's so weird. He's
like,
so shit.
Yeah, I can't listen to him first. It doesn't sound right. It needs
so
Gary
weird.
introing, and then he's fine.
Yeah. It's just somebody else to just make that icebreaker, and then he's all right. When he said it, like I don't know if you listened to the Rest of his football this morning, but he said like that he was just shitting himself, even though he knew he had like 8 words or whatever it was. He was shitting himself. It was so funny. Well, talking of pressure, it's your turn. So.
All right, you've got to do that the whole way through. What the actual thing is, and then I'm ready. Hello and welcome to Match of the Day. I'm Ben Sewell, and joined with me, as always, my trusty sidekick, William Salisbury. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, how are you? You all right?
Excellent. I'm very well, thank you. Very well. It's a special episode of Match of the Day. We
First
don't have
ever.
Big Al, we don't have Big Meeks, but we do have each other.
No, I like it. Nice. Yeah, we do. Yeah, I like it. Well done. I think we should send that off to the BBC, and they'll be like, Alex. No, not Alex Scott. No, Big Meek. No, definitely not Big Meek.
Do you think Big Meeks is in with a run-in?
No.
So he said, "There's no way I want to do that."
There's no way he's going to get to do it. I think. I mean, who's in for the run-in?
Covering their ass.
100%. Who's like actually in for the run-in?
Mark Chapman, which I mean, he's covered it a lot anyway. To be honest.
He does well on Match of the Day too, as well.
Alex Scott, which I can see that. I think she's
Football Focus. She does as well, doesn't she?
Yeah. So she's used to presenting. I think she's a very good presenter, to be fair.
Yeah.
Um,
Laura Woods was in there as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, so she's been linked, but she's been very quiet about it. They seem to have died down.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know whether, obviously she's pregnant, I don't know when she's due. Will that coincide with like mat leave and stuff potentially? Who knows?
Well, let's not get on my employment law soapbox. We won't talk about that. But maybe you're right.
Sacked, wouldn't they? Knowing you, just cull everyone, get rid of everyone.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I think our hat is now firmly in the running after the shock news, in case anyone didn't know, that Gary Lineker is going to leave Match of the Day as like the highlight show from next year, but he's going to continue with like Match of the Day for the FA Cup and stuff for the next. He signed a 2-year contract, doesn't he? So it's this year and then next year, and then he finishes completely. Is that right?
No, Match of the Day. No, Match of the Day finish it. Yeah, sorry, Match of the Day next year, and then he does the World Cup and all the qualifiers up to 2026. Yeah,
and then he's done.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, cool.
End of an era. He's been doing it for so long.
I know. Well,
I feel like this is going to be like Gillette Soccer Saturday, where Jeff Stelling went. Obviously, they did that transition a couple of years before, and it didn't really work, and he was like, enough's enough. And I'll be honest, I don't find it. It's just not the same anymore. It's not as exciting. It's not as fun. They don't gel as well. Is Match of the Day going to be like that?
Well, it is a bit like Top Gear when they lost Clarkson, Hammond and May for Jeff Stelling. I'll be honest. So are you... I don't think you will remember this, but do you remember Des doing it?
I don't. See, I'm way too young for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I thought that would be your response. Even if you did, I reckon that would still be your response.
Probably. I mean, you've got to bear in mind, I was 6 or 7 when he finished.
Yeah. So I remember Des doing Match of the Day and I remember him doing the Premiership when that went to ITV. Do you remember that?
I do remember him presenting it. Yes. Yeah, I always remember seeing him.
Because Match of the Day lost the rights, and you're like, what? And then it went to ITV, and there was adverts and everything. But I think they put it at a reasonable hour, if I remember rightly. I think it was on at like 7-8 o'clock on ITV.
That's a quick turnaround, though, isn't it, for those games?
Yeah. I think that was that in? Oh, I don't even know. It could be wrong. Was that in like an era where there was a lot of 3 p.m. kickoffs?
Probably. I don't know.
Anyway, it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, I do remember that. So it was a bit of I remember Gary Lineker being a bit like, oh, who's this guy with the big ears and the Walker's advert sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, now it will be weird.
Isn't that mental that he's one of the hugely successful English strikers?
Yeah.
And we know him as a guy with the big ears from the Walker's adverts.
Yeah.
Just a complete different era, isn't it?
Well,
like
when did he finish?
Cantona's just an actor who ends up in all these like weird and wonderful adverts.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones as well. Yeah,
Vinnie Jones,
true.
Yeah, prime example.
But I mean, when did Gary Lineker finish his playing career? That was kind of early 90s. So even that's beyond me, mate. I was only like 1 or 2 then. I can't remember. And he went to Japan as well in 92. No, it can't have been that early.
It was definitely late, but it was the same team that Arsene Wenger was managing before he went to Arsenal.
Exactly, and he'd been Monaco before he went to Arsenal
or something.
Yeah, no, I don't think he managed Lineker, did he?
No, he didn't manage Lineker.
No,
Lineker went
so that's early 90s then. That's early 90s. So yeah, fair play to me. I don't remember that.
No, okay, fair enough. There's a few more shocks over the weekend, wasn't there?
Yeah, do you want to get straight into that, or do you want to go back to before we was last on air? Well, not before.
I suppose there's a little bit to catch up on, isn't there? Gregory O'Toole, as you like to call him, aka
I
David
didn't.
Coote.
That is not what I said. I did get his surname wrong, but I didn't call him Gregory.
I don't know where Gregory came from.
No, that was a random
there
one.
straight away.
Nice. 101th. It was like that.
101th time. Bang.
Yeah, David Coote. Now, I need you to tell us what happened.
So he was filmed by what I assume is one of his friends, one of his pals. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're very good pals now. I don't think they would do a joint application to be Match Today presenters.
Yeah, well, I think in the video he said, this doesn't go out. This cannot get leaked.
Yeah, but why would you video it then? But yeah,
Mental.
by the by, I mean, we can't say much. We slate a lot of things on this podcast and just hope no one ever listens. So, and then we moan about nobody listening, which is bizarre. But so yeah, he was filmed basically slating Liverpool, slating Jurgen Klopp, calling him all sorts of names under the sun. C-Bomb was there. He's an effing C. He's a effing prick. Blah 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 blah. Slating Liverpool, saying Klopp's arrogant and all, like literally laying into him. And he basically held a grudge ever since Klopp. I can't remember what he said specifically, but Klopp called him out on something, a wrong decision or something like that, a few years ago, and he's basically held a grudge ever since. But so he's sitting there on his friend's settee and he's like videoing his friends. Oh no, are you serious? Like, proper like geeing him up, which I can well imagine we would do if we had a few beers.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, it's obviously been leaked and he's been suspended pending investigations and all sorts of stuff. But the more concerning thing is he did not look with it, shall we say.
Well, did you see another video?
There was a lot of influence. No, I've only seen that one.
Yeah, there was another video. I haven't seen this. I don't know how true this is, so I can't.
What, of Gregory O'Toole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of Coote, with a $20 bill or something, and he was using it up his nose to.
I've heard about this.
Substance.
Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't know whether it was true, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, same. But
okay.
So there might be a bit of drug use. Now, drug use aside, that because we don't know if that's true. Where do you stand on him with this suspension and the investigation? What do you think should happen next?
I mean, he can't. For me, he can't ref in the Premier League again.
Really?
Yeah. Personally, I don't think he could. Yeah, I think Premier League's enough. We all make mistakes. But he's clearly got a bias against Liverpool. He's got a bias against Jurgen Klopp, and that influences the entire league. And that can influence relegation, that can influence European places. Obviously, the way Liverpool are at the moment, that can influence the title. So I think his Premier League career is over. Potentially English football career is over, because other teams will be like, we don't want him, we don't trust him, and we don't. He doesn't hold the rules. He may be biased against us because we're based near Liverpool, or there's an affiliation, whatever it could be. There could be all sorts of things. If there's some sort of fixture clash and stuff, opens up a huge can of worms here. So I think potentially his ref career is done in this country.
Oh, really?
Probably go abroad, and I'm sure he could find somewhere. Saudi or something, or somewhere in Europe, maybe lower leagues. I don't know. But I think the main thing is to make sure, one, that he's actually all right, because the amount of scrutiny he's faced because of this, and I'm sure there's a lot of abuse across his socials, especially from angry Liverpool fans. Probably Jurgen Klopp and the Red Bull team.
Yeah.
They've got a big reach. They've got a big reach. So, being so open about it, I think he's fucked himself, really.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to disagree that that's what might inevitably happen. I just kind of feel it's a little bit harsh. I mean, let's not question why he's decided to record himself having this conversation and how that's gone out, because that's utterly stupid. Like that for me is ridiculous.
Exactly.
But what are you playing with?
Sorry, I just found a screw, so I was just throwing it away.
Oh, okay. Fair. Yeah, it's really loud in my ears, that ding.
Oh, sorry.
So, that's right.
Sorry, listeners.
Ben's got bored. Will was talking. Ben's got bored.
Yeah.
Let's play with this screw.
Mate, I'm sure I've got like ADHD or something, or ADD.
Maybe,
I just get
mate.
distracted so easily.
But going back to O'Toole, so he has made a mistake by having it recorded. But how many referees out there do you think there are that hate Pep Guardiola, that hate Mikel Arteta, that hate Jurgen Klopp,
yeah,
and will call them all of the names under the sun?
100%. I mean, some referees have said, this, like ex-referees have said this and said, yeah, we'll talk about it, but you don't record yourself doing it. And it's the same as a normal person, people in like normal everyday jobs. You will slag off your manager at some stage. Everyone has done. You'll have a disagreement, something's not gone right, or you slag off a colleague or whatever it may be. But you wouldn't sit there on video talking about it.
But you might do. But
not
if
like
it gets
that. Not like that though. There's a level, isn't there?
There's the difference, because Jurgen Klopp is Jurgen Klopp. If it was if he worked in IT and he was talking about, I don't know, Gregory O'Toole, then it could be recorded and it wouldn't make the impact that it's made now. So it feels for me kind of harsh that he's going to have to probably lose his job in England. As you say, there might be other opportunities for him, but definitely in England, it feels harsh that he's had a moan and a rant about, and probably spoken the truth in a lot of that on his feelings, used inappropriate language, but probably spoken the truth.
Absolutely. It's one mistake.
And he's going to lose his job.
Yeah, it's a big mistake, but it is one mistake. And yeah, arguably, he probably shouldn't. He should still be able to do the job he's qualified for. But there's been like chief execs that have, said things in the past to colleagues, employees, whatever, that's been derogatory. It could be sexist, for example. It could be an off-the-cuff comment that you've just said with a mate or something because you get on well with them. They've taken it the wrong way and it blows up. And, I know of chief execs that have, lost their jobs and lost their careers out of this in football because of comments and stuff. So it's tough, but when you're in that position, you have to be aware of that. Same as footballers. If they're doing anything stupid in a restaurant or a nightclub or whatever, they need to be aware of this or they could lose it. Lose their sponsors, lose their contracts at football clubs. If they're caught using cocaine or whatever it may be or whatever, there we go.
Yeah.
You just got to be aware of it. It's a high pressure and high profile environment.
No, I get what you mean. It's just it just feels difficult. Like, I'm not saying that the outcome's should be or will be different. I'm just saying it just feels harsh for that to
It
happen. I mean,
does.
fair enough. Don't let him refer a Liverpool game if that's what it is. But then there are added implications. If Liverpool win in the league as they are at the moment, and he manages a Man City game or referees, sorry, a Man City game, and then there's a penalty call and he doesn't give it, or he does give it, either way, and it looks bad on Liverpool. And that's that is the worst fan base to go up against, isn't it? In terms of a voice
Of course it is.
and wanting to be heard. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, and I do feel for him because it feels like he's been stitched up big time there.
Yeah, massively. Shall we move on to something a little bit more light-hearted? Because there's a very good friend of yours who's been in the news recently. A future guest. We're still crossing our fingers. Any day now, he will read your message. Am I right?
Any day. I'm just waiting on that call back.
Excellent. Do you want to explain to the viewers and the listeners what we're chatting about and who we're chatting about? Because obviously you have a lot of friends. We're all aware of this.
Yeah, you might want a blue flag. So
yes, yeah, mate. Do a follow-up message. Look, I'm getting married, and I'd love for you to come. Bring some mates, by all means. I'll get a whole table for them.
Yeah, bring Dave Kitson.
Yeah, 26 seats available.
Steve Sidwell. Yeah, bring the old Reading crew. So it's Leroy Lita, isn't it?
It is Leroy
we're talking
Lita.
about here. Who's he playing for again?
I can't remember. I thought you prepared this.
No, don't be silly. I can't remember. I've forgotten. But yeah, he's been caught playing knockdown ginger, or as the kids say, ding door ditch. Did you know that?
I did, and I think it's very weird.
Yeah, Jack called it that the other day, and I went, "It's called knockdown ginger," and he was like, "What is that?" I was like, "I'm ashamed."
Why do you know this? Come on, guys.
So he's a few years older than me, so he must be nearly 40 now. He's still playing knockdown ginger, which is unbelievable, isn't it?
I mean, fair play to him.
Ben's busy, by the way.
I'm just trying to Google
intently
who it was, who he's
screen.
playing for at the moment. So, he plays for Barwell FC, and someone's put in their neighbourhood chat, like their Facebook group, the neighbourhood chat. Can Leroy Lita of Barwell FC stop doing knock-a-door run after training sessions? He's constantly awakening my grandma's cat at 10:15 p.m. every Tuesday. It gets better. I have video evidence of my Ring doorbell and his full Barwell training kit.
Oh, quality. Absolutely brilliant.
Could someone have a word with the manager or chairman and get this sorted immediately? Many thanks.
All I'll say is you can take the lad out of Margate, but you can't take the Margate out of the lad. What a legend.
Oh, I love that.
That's so funny.
But why would you still wear your training kit?
Because he's a lad.
Just get us. Like, obviously I've got my football stuff. I'm like, yeah, football drive. Holding the doorbell. Like...
Absolute brilliant.
What a legend.
Proper shithousery.
So funny.
Yeah. No, that is a good story. I love a little story like that. Leroy Lita, former Premier League professional footballer, playing knockdown ginger.
Excellent. Just fantastic. Fantastic.
So, I think you've put here, Wagwan at City. Pep has signed a new contract for 2 years.
Contract.
After they lost
something.
After they lost 4 games in a row, now 5. Does he know something? Has he heard that there's going to be no relegation, even though he said, I'm here to stay, even if there is relegation?
Exactly. Something doesn't add up with the timing and everything of it as well. Now, was this supposed to be like a confidence boost for the players? But like, look, I'm still here. I'm behind you. Like maybe he thought that the not pressure, but the uncertainty in his future is affecting them. So he's like, no, look, I'm here still, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it didn't really help, did it, the weekend? At all. But yeah, it just seems weird.
I think it's one of those, isn't it, where he obviously loves Man City, which I don't understand. I understand, why he might love Man City, but he stayed at Barcelona 4 years. Bayern for 3 years. Then he always took a year out. Yeah. He'll be like 11 years after his contract's finished if he ends it there, which is unusual for him.
That's mad.
The Premier League's got him, I assume. And what a difference he's made. And he's changed the game of football in the Premier League since he's been here. He's really upped that level, and people have had to stay with him. So fair play. But yeah, with 115 charges looming and an outcome, looming, what's gonna happen there with that? And is he just up for the job of rebuilding this team? Because I didn't think we'd say it after the treble win, but Man City need a rebuild.
I think rebuild's a bit of an exaggeration.
Well, yeah, you're right.
They probably need about 4 or 5 squad players that are not.
But you would call that a rebuild, wouldn't you? If you're looking at Liverpool, when Klopp said, "Oh, I'm going to start rebuilding," and it was like Liverpool to Klopp 2.0 or whatever they were calling it, that was classed as a rebuild, and they didn't get they lost. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so in that same sense, because Kyle Walker can't do it anymore. John Stones is probably on his way out in terms of he's becoming a little bit injury prone.
Yeah, I think ability wise he's still there, but the injuries are just hampering him, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah. De Bruyne, he's getting older. He's getting a bit more injury prone. Is he needed? Gundogan's obviously a bit older now. Grealish hasn't done probably what they wanted him to do. Savinho seems great, but can he do it in the Prem? It's up for debate. They've got injuries,
Doku as well.
He's injured, isn't he?
Oh, is
and
it?
Bob, Oscar Bob and Doku, I think they're injured, yeah. They've got an injury list.
Bob got injured, didn't he? But again, Bob's not exactly... He's not a starter, is he? He's your sort of backup.
Your finisher. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. He certainly did start a few games last season. He did very well, but yeah, they need a good 4 or 5 players. They need people to score. That's not Haaland.
Yeah, I mean Haaland's not scoring. That's the problem, isn't it, for City? Every time I put him as captain on my fantasy football, and every time he bloody lets me down.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I put him as captain and then have left it. Just didn't do anything with it.
Understandable. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's a weird time for City. And I mean, they potentially could be 11 points behind Liverpool this weekend.
Yeah, well, they're playing Liverpool
after 30.
Yeah, which is insane. And you sort of think, we're talking about it. What are we? 25th of November. We're talking about it like their season's over. This is Man City. Their season ain't over. Their season's just beginning. They know what they're doing, and any team can come back, and we can in 6 months' time be like, yeah, Man City are fucking good.
Yeah, I mean they always come good second half of the season anyway. They always find their stride. And they tend to have a wobble about November time.
But unprecedented times.
Not losses.
I was just going to say, 5 losses in a row now. And they were shit on Saturday.
They were played off the park by, I don't know, I can't remember now. Can't remember what small team it was.
Yeah, it was just some small team who'd lost to Ipswich the week before. Or 2 weeks before.
Mate, honestly, that club are just ridiculous. You can beat Man City twice within 3 months of the season starting.
4-0 away from home.
4-0 away from home. And 2-1, I think it was, at home. But lose to Ipswich.
And Palace.
Like, they've lost loads this season. And you think, like, what the fuck? Like, how does that work?
I think, I'll be honest, where they were forced into making changes at the back with Van der Ven and Romero, they were forced to kind of sit that little bit deeper compared to what they normally do. And that seemed to have all of the impact. They lost Bentancur, and I think they put Maddison in, and Maddison just dominated the game because they had because Man City had no Rodri, probably.
Or Kovacic, because he's out injured.
Or Kovacic, because exactly right. They had Gundogan, who couldn't keep up with, if you think about, was it the first goal where Maddison just completely lost Gundogan? It's mental. But Tottenham, outplayed them, and rightly so. I remember watching it at 2-0, and I'm thinking, Man City will get this back. 3-0. I'm like, I don't think they're going to get this back. And then they scored right at the death, and you think, they've just beaten Man City at their own ground 4-0.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want to take anything away from Tottenham because they played an absolute blinder.
They did play very well, yeah.
But City did have their chances, and Haaland was just not finding the target. I think he hit the post and the bar twice.
Hit the crossbar, definitely, yeah.
I'm sure he hit the post or something. Just went wide on one of them. He was clear.
Yeah.
And the other one, he took another touch. You think he'd hit that first time. I mean, he's not lacking confidence because he scored a hattie on internationals, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it's not as though he can't score anything. I think it's just the way City are playing at the moment. He's got to do a little bit more. So he's not necessarily in those killer positions where all he has to do is tap it in, which is what he's used to for the last 2 seasons or so now.
Yeah, exactly right. Anyway, sorry, we got off topic there. So Pep signed a new 2-year contract. Yeah. So actually, while we're talking about it, let's move on to the Leicester City game because, not City, Chelsea, because they, after the game, dismissed Cooper. Leicester did. What's your thoughts on that? I've got my thoughts. What do you reckon?
So I'm a little bit biased, I suppose, to a certain extent, or influenced, I should say, because I've been talking to a mate of mine who is a Leicester fan. And he was saying that at the start of the season, obviously when they appointed Cooper, he was like, no one wants him. He's literally there because we think we're going to get relegated and points deductions. So no one, it's a win-win. Like if he does shit, we get rid of him, we go down. But we go down because we got point deduction. But so they'd appointed him probably on that basis. This is the fans' perception. Appointed him on that basis. And if they're doing crap, we just get rid of him. It's fine. He's not really what we actually want. Because we want that style that Maresca was playing. But I sort of see that because he wasn't accepted by the fans at all. No one really wanted him there, and he was just... It was a bit of a uninspiring appointment. There wasn't fanfare around it. There wasn't much hype, was there? It was, oh, really? He went to Leicester? Okay. That was it. Even the media didn't really jump on it too much or anything. From my side, I think it's really harsh because he's had 12 games. He plays very different style to Maresca. So if they did want to play a different style or was willing to give him time to do that, you've got to give him more than 12 games. Which to me says, they don't want that style. He was there and I was like, we've got to stick by it, but actually you're not doing that well, so this is an excuse to get rid of him. They must have someone else lined up. Otherwise, it's a really weird decision to do it now. They don't have anyone else in the mix.
Well, yeah, but they haven't. There's nothing in the press about who's going to replace him. There's talks of Potter maybe coming in, someone like that. But Moyes,
linked, yeah.
But again, he doesn't play the same sort of football that Maresca plays. So I find that, fans, fair enough. I get that they're closer to that team than I am. But I think looking at it from like an outsider looking in, I can't see that the Leicester board went, okay, let's get him so we can make him a scapegoat if we do lose points for a deduction. I've got a funny feeling something has happened.
What, like an argument or something like that behind the scenes, or
whether it's an allegation of something, or whether Leicester have found something, or something's happened with him and the chairman, or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I feel like something's happened that's been so severe that they've had to sack him, because 12 games, you don't sack a manager after 12 games who you've just brought in to replace a manager who got you promoted, who plays a different style of football. You knew that when you recruited him, so you won't expect miracles. And Leicester aren't doing bad. Like, we're not saying that they're not Southampton.
No, they're above the relegation zone. So you take that come the end of the season, they'll be buzzing with that.
If they're hedging their bets,
two other promoted teams as well. Sorry, above Southampton and Ipswich, they're in the relegation zone. You're the best of that bunch, and you're beating another Premier League side, well, another couple of Premier League sides.
Yeah, you're doing well. Like, he's keeping you in it. I mean, they didn't play too badly against Chelsea. Like, it wasn't they're not playing badly. So I find it unusual for them to do that, or they're hedging their bets and thinking it ain't enough for what we want going forward, which is weird. I think to get rid of him, something must have happened, but we don't know. And I think if you're hedging your bets because you don't like the way he's playing football, and then you pick Moyes or even Potter, because what style of football does Potter play? I know at Brighton was
build up, isn't it?
Yeah, I know at Brighton was it wasn't like bad. It's not the same sort of as Moyes and Cooper, but yeah. I mean, it's no Maresca. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It's not adding up to me.
No, I agree. I probably agree with you on the fact something's happened to spark that. Whether it is just they already had that time frame in mind, or whatever it may be, or they've set per game expectations, and that's how many points they expect to be at this point.
That's not football, though, is it?
Season. It's not, but they'll get rid of people if they believe it.
Very odd.
Yeah, it is very strange.
Did you think that indeed he was quite lucky to not get a red card against his tackle against Palmer? It was a bit lucky, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Very late, hard.
I think if the referee had sent him off, I don't think VAR would have turned it over.
Do you know what? I couldn't answer that because you just don't know what they're going to do.
That is true. And if you think back to the Everton Brentford game, the ball's whipped in. Norgard goes for it, catches Pickford, and he gets sent off.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one, but
Ben's using his catchphrase again. I just think to myself,
such a wanker.
How is that a red card? That is never in a million years a red card. The player's going for the ball. He's not got Pickford in sight at all. He's got his eye on the ball. They've both gone for it. They've both missed it. He's hit his leg high. He has hit his leg high, but there's no way it's a red card. And I think
you've got to watch the player, don't you? You've got to see the actions and take that into consideration. Not just, he's hit him high, so it's a red. It doesn't always work like that.
Exactly. He's gone for the ball. It's not a tackle. He's gone to shoot, but he's missed the ball because the ball's just whizzed past him. It could happen every game, and you're going to send somebody off for that. I just don't. I don't think so. But I think Everton. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of the Calvert-Lewin talk about offering him a new contract. They're not sure whether to offer him a new contract.
No. What's he done for them in 2-3 seasons?
At Everton were down. They were playing against 10-men Brentford, and they just couldn't seem to break it down. And then I think they took Calvert-Lewin off and put on
Beto.
No, not Calvert-Lewin. Sorry, they took Decore off and brought on Mangala, and they took Lindstrom off and put Beto on, kept Calvert-Lewin on. I think it was last week they might have needed to go and took Calvert-Lewin off, but it's too late. 72nd minute, you got 18 minutes left with two strikers against 10 men. Why haven't you done that early? He got red carded in the first half. Surely you hedge your bets and try and get that win.
Yeah, you at least change your shape slightly to be more attacking, especially if you're at home as well. Yeah.
For me, that's why he's not a Premier League manager.
I mean, he still is, but I don't know why I defend him so much. I think it's just
I don't know why you do either. Wolves, we knew it, mate. We've
said this for weeks, haven't we? Now we've said this for weeks. It will come. It will come. The points will come. In Gary O'Neill, we trust. 4-1.
Away from home. And Fulham scored third. What a goal from Iwobi, by the way.
Oh, my God. For me, it's a contender. It's not goal of the week in my eyes, but that's a strong contender.
So actually, going back to the Man City game, is Maddison's second a goal contender?
100%. Well, the little flick.
Yeah, where he sort of controlled it. And then,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a contender.
Yeah.
Cunha's second.
Oh, that was a fucking lamp and a half, wasn't it?
Mate, I want Cunha to come to Arsenal.
His first was good, though. He chipped him, the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the second one was just
because it was outside.
Strength, composure, and a hit. The technique. Yeah. His technique. I want him at Arsenal, man.
He is good. He's a good player. Yeah, I could see him at Arsenal. I could say
Best player on that pitch by a mile. And he's every Wolves game, he's the best player. It might be harsh, but most Wolves games.
Most, yeah. Yeah, that was a good game. I don't think Fulham were fully at the races, though, especially second half.
They looked out of it, didn't they? They looked... Yeah. I mean, early on, they had a chance. Jimenez had a chance. But other than that, they didn't really do a lot, did they?
No.
I know Anderson come off injured and they had no more subs left. But even so, they just didn't really look with it, did they?
No, it was a weird performance from Fulham, considering how solid they've been this season. You don't, you don't expect them to ship 4 goals. I appreciate the fourth was, when they were down to 10 men, it's very difficult, as Arsenal know, from 12 games this season that we've been down to 10 men, it feels like.
Yeah. A nice segue, though. We did play well on Saturday. I thought Martin Ødegaard is the central point of that team. He helps Saka out so much, and he puts the shit up the other teams.
Yeah, he just links everything and everyone perfectly. Like the relationship he's got with Saka on the pitch is genuinely mesmerising. He knows where he's going to be. He knows the run. He just flicks it. It's that perfect weighted pass 95% of the time. And it's just there. But Bukayo Saka's goal from that little link up with Ødegaard, I've seen the highlights and I've watched it about 50 times. And I still can't work out when he decided to shoot. Because he's run back and you think, what are you doing? He's just going to pass it and maybe get 1-2 over the top or something. And he's just belted that, which is another contender for goal of the week.
Yes. And then there was another contender for goal of the week with Sir Thomas Partey and his absolute screamer. I mean...
We know he's got it in his locker.
We know he's got it in his locker.
Season? Do you remember the first season at Arsenal? How many shots he would have that would literally be like, it's like watching you play. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you hitting it there?
It's harsh. I know what you mean. We started with Jorginho, Marino, and Ødegaard in the middle of the pitch, which I thought, that's interesting. Rice and Partey on the bench. I think Partey came on at half time, and
Rice is slightly injured, isn't he? So
he's got a broken toe, isn't he? Yeah. I just thought he's stepped it up a level again this season, and Timber was very good on that right wing, showing that he can do it both sides.
He's an incredible player.
Yeah, outstanding.
Like an absolute machine. He's so technical, yet he's so strong.
And he's still new because he played one game and then had the rest of the season out. And now he's played, 10, 12 games this season, all in. And he's still only relatively new in a sense of playing football with that team. So, what a player he is. Very well done.
Yeah. We need him to be consistent and injury-free because obviously Ben White's out for a few months now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, is it knee? Is it knee ligament?
Yeah, some knee operation of some kind.
Yeah, so he's out for a few months now. He needs to up his game. Calafiori's back, so obviously he'll go over on that left hand side. Tomiyasu. Oh God, I couldn't remember his name. I'd probably just called him something else like Yoshi or something. But Tomiyasu is out again. You just said that. I don't know. I hope not. I didn't mean that. If it is, sorry if it is.
There's no offence, guys. No offence.
No,
totally
not at all.
Accidental.
Yeah, I think that he's out for the remainder of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Just such a long injury list that seems to be going on for all clubs again. Like Liverpool aren't without their injuries. City have got their injuries. Tottenham have got their injuries. It's just
too many games.
Yeah,
it goes back to too many games in all the competitions. It's all for money. But I have seen today with the Arsenal news quickly, our favourite player is back and he's in the squad to face Sporting tomorrow. Mr. Kieran Tierney is back on the bench.
Oh, is he back? Oh, interesting.
Back on the bench.
I wonder what will I've wondered about him for a little while now. I wonder what will happen with him, whether they'll just sort of give him a couple of games from the bench this season and then just sort of call it quits.
Yeah, I think so. I think the only
like
reason
a Cole
this
Jenkinson
season. Oh, mate, Jenko plays for Bromley now.
I know, yeah, brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel for him. I think the team's evolved too much, but I still think he's one of our best left backs because of what he offers going forward and coming back.
It's because he wears shorts and carries a Tesco bag, isn't it?
Mate, he doesn't give a shit, does he? He doesn't give a shit. So,
well, talk of fuck ups. Southampton really fucked it up, didn't they?
Oh, mate, they are so shit.
But
they made Liverpool look like bang average, but they're so shit at the same time.
I mean, all three of their goals were their own making. What? I mean, the keeper, plays the ball out, and the defender has got no option but to pass it back to the other defender, who then, the basics of football. You have to do the simple stuff well. The basics of football is if you're in defence and you're panicking, you kick the ball out to the closest side. You don't go across goal. You kick it out that way. He's kicked it out straight ahead of him, straight to Szoboszlai, who's like,
thanks. Cheers, bro.
Oh, all right, yeah, bang, goal. And you're like, it's such an... I mean, why the keeper's playing that ball, I don't know. It's not on, really. The ball isn't on because the player's marked. Just fucking hunk it long, but they can't do that. So they're making these rash decisions. I mean, it's just lucky it's not Muric, really. But then the second goal, what was the keeper doing?
I genuinely don't know.
Explain. You keep the goal behind you, right?
Yeah. I cannot... I just can't work out why they insist on playing this way and the decisions they make as a team, not just a goalie, but as a team. Why they do these things?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just don't understand. Well, I mean, I don't know because he's come rushing out, and then Salah's, but he's not. He's not even
conviction. There's no conviction there. There's no belief he's going to get it.
But he's come at. I don't know. It just feels like he's come at it from there with the goal over here, and then Salah's just gone donk, and it's just gone straight past him. And you're like,
yeah, I think the angle's completely wrong. Yeah, it is completely wrong. But that's his starting position of where he's been. That's wrong. It's really hard to get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
We played football on pitches with bigger goals and stuff, like an actual goal, so to speak. Nothing obviously the size of what they do. But I kept looking back to work out where you're going to be. So if the ball's coming down that side, you sort of close the gap slightly to that side because they might be able to beat you on your near post. But you've got a defender that's going to cover your back post if needed or cover that area. But it just seems like there's no communication between the team, so no one's covering. They're all just, this is my position, that's all I'm doing.
Yeah. And exactly. And then the penalty. I mean, he's has he got done by the bounce?
Yeah, I think so. They said about it on Match of the Day, and they said, look, the bounce is just slightly taking it away from him. But it's hard. It's hard when you're not doing that yourself in that moment to really judge that one. It is a tough one.
Well,
obviously it happened so quickly.
Yeah, I guess it's easier when it's slowed down. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you move your hand in that way, it's going to be a penalty now. It's a penalty now.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that everyone needs to learn. Simple as that.
Yeah.
It is because it happens so often now, isn't it? And so many teams are getting penalised for it. And it's like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
If the referee said at the beginning of the season they're cracking down on that, don't bloody do it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, fair play. I mean, Liverpool, 11 points clear of City. What, 15 clear of Arsenal and the rest still, I think? Is it? No.
That high.
Not that much. Sorry.
That much. Not yet. Christ.
What is it now? It's 9 points.
Yeah.
And then 8 for City. I thought you said 11 points earlier they were ahead.
Yeah, it could be if they beat City.
Oh, yes, of course.
So by the end of the
Sorry.
weekend, they could be 11 points.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that makes sense now. I was thinking, but the City are a point above us. So what is that? The 15? What is that? Anyway, I'm wrong. I thought Ipswich played really well. What did you think of Man United starting? Under Amorim?
Weird not formation. Weird players in the formation, but I guess you can only work with what you've got for the time being.
What was it, Mazraoui?
Yeah, and then Diallo was right wing back, wasn't he?
Left.
Which I thought was a bit. Was it left wing back? Sorry.
Hang on, Diallo. Sorry, yeah, Amad Diallo.
Amad Diallo was right. Yeah, Diogo Dallo was left.
Was left. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And then Ericsson in the middle with Casemiro.
Yeah, and I get the Ericsson Casemiro bit. I get that. That works. Seems to work at the moment for them. But yeah, obviously they haven't got specialists in those positions because they've never played that system. So it's obviously going to take a while. But do you remember what was the guy for Victor Moses for Chelsea? When Conte went in, he turned him into a right wing back, and he was a beast.
Well, that was
he
like
just transformed his entire career because he was a right winger, wasn't he?
It was like Valencia, wasn't it? He'd done that at Man United.
Oh, Antonio Valencia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, was he right back in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it does happen. Normally, it goes the other way, doesn't it? Left back to left winger or left striker, like Bale, for example.
I went the other way.
Right, weirdly. Yeah, you did the natural regression throughout the years. But yeah, it could be good, but they just don't seem to really work for each other yet. It appears on the pitch.
What happened to Mainu?
I think Mainu's injured.
He was on the bench and he didn't come on, so I wasn't sure.
He's just coming back from an injury.
Right. Luke Shaw made a start. Made an appearance as well.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. I thought it was good for him.
He's got a future.
Oh, do you not?
No, he's too injury prone for them.
Yeah.
That Amorim plays a certain system, and I think he has these sort of set players that he would want.
I thought he might go in. I thought he might do well in that Darlow position.
He could do. Yeah, I think he really could do if he stays fit.
Yeah. But I think, they started off really well, and that ball into Rashford from Ahmad was quality. I think they started well. Yeah. And then just kind of drifted into the old Man United, didn't they? I thought, Delap could have had a few goals. Hutchinson's goal, I mean, that is a contender as well. What a goal that was, by the way.
It was a beauty. It was a beauty.
Onana made some great saves.
Yeah, I think he played really, really well. And I think that's probably encouraging for United fans because he's had some good performances, don't get me wrong. But obviously under a new manager that will want to utilise his skill set more, but have that extra defender at the back will probably support him a little bit more in that position and that kind of role that he wants to do. So I think that could work well. And I think, we've said it before, they have still got a decent team if they play as a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once that clicks, I think they could be, they could influence a lot of the finishing positions in the league, especially at the top end.
So I have to ask,
who
is your FDP, or what is your FDP goal of the week?
For me, maybe there's a little bit of bias here. I'm not sure, but for me, it's star boy Bukayo Saka.
I'm glad you said that.
That was brilliant from the build-up of it. I think Ødegaard's sort of slight layoff was just enough for him. And then the work he still had to do to get round three players and then bend it round into the top corner. Well, not top corner, but top end. Yeah. So for me, it's Bukayo. What about you?
I think special shout-out for Maddison. Special shout-out for Cunha. But it has to go to Starboy, Little Chili. Bukayo Saka.
There we go. There we go, guys. You've heard it. Your official Mystery Away Days FDP goal of the week. Bukayo Saka of Arsenal Football Club.
Now, you had a little story to tell us, didn't you?
Yes, it was following on from your football childhood stories that you mentioned. Was it last the last full episode, wasn't it? I think, or was it on the mini one?
Yeah, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I've got a follow up for that, but yeah, carry on.
I've had someone get in touch. So we had a guy called Mark who runs the Big Fellas podcast. So shout out, Mark. I've got it's basically. I'll just read it out. I'll put it on my screen. He said, "So if you want a story about school football, I went to school in Huntingdon, and in my rival school in the same year with former England striker Darren Bent.
No
on
way.
a couple of occasions, I had to man-mark him."
Mate, wait, can you imagine, right? So I went to school with Leroy Lita, right? Who we've spoken about earlier. But could you... so I remember playing football with him, but there is no way. Can you imagine being in that position where you've got to man-mark Darren Bent?
But he wasn't Darren Bent as you know him now. That's the thing. But he was
even
still
so,
a bit different level.
I was going to say, everyone knew Leroy Lita had it at my school. Everyone was like, Leroy could make it big. And he's a big guy as well. And so was Darren Bent. Like, could you just like imagine, right? The shots that you face now at that 6-7 aside that we play, and the shots that he would have been hitting, fuck, your hand would have been broken a lot more than it has.
100%. Yeah, I've had more than a fractured little finger. He said, so I had to man-mark him. It didn't end well in one game. We lost 15-0.
How many did he score?
I believe he scored 9. He would have scored 10, but I beat him to a header. Only for it to loop over the keeper and into the back of my own net, giving me an own goal.
Oh, no.
Mark, thank you for that. I'm really sorry
you can
scored
just imagine it, though, can't you? The delight when you're like, because this guy, I mean, you know he's going to be special, and you're there and you're like, bang, yeah, beat him to...
Yeah. He's literally like us on the pitches. I'm like, Will, I can't get it.
That has happened to me. Like it's happened to me where like I've gone to like get the ball and it's just gone past you because my little touch has just taken it past your hand and stuff. So like it happens, but when you're being annihilated and there's one person that's doing that, it's just the worst. I just hate it so much and I can imagine knowing him as well. Like, not that I know him, but you know, get to know him as a footballer. You could just imagine
him. Get him to the fucking podcast. Fuck Leroy Lita. Jesus.
You know, I reckon he was just giving it as well. He would have been a cocky little shit as well.
Oh, 100%. But what a story. So Mark, thank you for getting in touch, mate. That has made my day. That was bloody brilliant.
Yeah, certainly has. Yeah, we've got a couple more. So I wanted to talk about Sunday League. So we'll do that next week because we've probably overrun.
Yeah,
today
we need to get ready for football, don't we?
We do.
We are playing on 7-a-side pitches now.
Yes, we are. Yeah,
it was my debut on a 7-a-side pitch last week.
You did well, mate. I think.
Unfortunately, we did concede 3-1 against top of the league. Bear in mind.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a lot tighter. I think we've sort of learnt our lesson from last week on a couple of things. I don't think we got a strong team today, but I don't think they're as strong as the team that played last week. So
no,
it will certainly be very interesting to see what happens. I was talking to a couple of lads on Saturday and from the team, and they were sort of saying I could see a few 0-0s, and I actually agree with that. I don't think it's going to be as high free scoring as it is when you're in those tight, compact cages where you can knock it off the wall and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit tougher.
Game. It's so much slower, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know what it's like for you guys on pitch, but for me, it was like, the ball's gone out. I'm not running for it. Because it gives you guys a 5-10 seconds breather. Get in a position, get some space. There's so much more time on the ball. Like Big Sass, he smashed it. He had so much time. And I think it gives so many more people an opportunity to actually play football properly, I think.
Yeah.
Rather than just be absolutely smothered a second after you get the ball. You've got space to pick your pass and make a run forward and things like that, haven't you?
An element of that, yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that completely. And I think, because actually, more big news, drum roll, Ben is playing his first 11-a-side game on Friday.
Yeah, that's if I get a game. I might just be a sub.
Yeah, you might do, but I think they'll be desperate for a goalkeeper. But I think that you're going to just see, again, a different side of playing football because 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 11-a-side, all of those difference in variations of players, they are very different games in terms of space and what you can do. And I think you're going to I think you're going to love it. You're going to love it, but I think you're just going to be like, shit, this goal's big.
Yeah, and the area's huge as well.
The area, yeah.
This is what I noticed.
You're allowed out of it.
I know, that scared the fuck out of me. What do I do? If I go out, I'm going to need a taxi to get back to goal, mate.
Yeah. You'll be like fucking the Southampton goalkeeper, just stood there, McCarthy, like, how'd I get here?
The only bonus, though, with the 7-a-sides is I can throw it for pretty much that entire pitch.
Mate, you kicked it
that
and
helps.
It actually went to the person that you wanted to kick it to.
How good was that? Honestly, at that point, I wanted to sprint up to you and be like, did you see it?
I could just imagine you sprinting out and doing the Zoo! Everyone's like, Ben, get back and go, what are you doing?
Fuck that! Honestly, I was genuinely so happy that went the way it should.
Mate, I had to double take. And like, was that Ben or?
No, I wouldn't ask Reece. He didn't have his best game, bless him. He was really beating himself up.
Oh, bless him.
But yeah, the fact that we can get some long throws in now, this is a game changer. And they all kept saying, watch it, he's going to launch it. And I was
they did, yeah.
And it still goes to our players. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good, mate.
I think there was one or two that didn't quite go where I wanted, but they was quite early on.
Yeah, there was one to me. There was one to me. And I just looked back. I remember looking forward and thinking, oh, there's no one. Oh, that's for me.
I was getting my distance at that point.
Yeah.
After that, I think it worked out all right. But yeah,
no, it did. It did.
Then one to Gav kind of went. I think I got a bit of spin on it. It sort of like drifted right. He still got it and had a shot off, to be fair. But yeah, I think he ran more than he wanted to.
Yeah, right. Let's get to football. Cool.
I'll see you in an hour, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Gary. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Take care.
Take care. Bye.